Welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be doing a full face of black owned makeup and everything that is earned from this video due to AdSense, and all the videos or advertisements that you watch throughout this video will be donated to Black Lives Matter. I'll leave all the information of the charity I'll be donating to, and I won't earn a single amount from it. You guys can probably see on my channel I already don't earn much from this at all because it strictly is a hobby and it isn't my full-time job, but I do really want to give back, and I don't have that much excess savings in order to donate substantially to the movement, but I have done, you know, like $50 here and there, but I do want to contribute more. So basically whatever ads or whatever AdSense that I earned from this video will go to Black Lives Matter. So do feel free to share this video with your family and friends. And yeah, let's just head into all these beautiful products. And I must say, like, honestly, I've tried all these brands extensively, and actually a couple of them I've had for the longest time, but I don't know why I never mentioned it on my channel. So that being said, I'm really excited for you guys to see all these products, and just stay on if you want to see all these brands and everything that I have to say about them, because honestly this look is giving me life. And I did a beautiful saturated glossy eye, which is like perfection. And yeah, just stick around to see these products. Alright, so the first black owned brand I'll be featuring is from McGrath. This is their primer, and I'll just show you the texture really quickly. But how I like to use this, because it's more of a blurring primer with a very velvety finish, what I like to do is just apply it in my enlarged pore areas. You can just apply it in the enlarged pore areas. For me, it's around my cheeks, nearest to my nose, on my nose as well. So what I really like about this primer is that it helps to delay oil production, but also it's just a very beautiful formula because it does keep everything very smooth. It really helps that you are able to mesh it together, because I don't really like the feeling of having primer and moisturizer as two separate layers. I really like to work it into the skin. Alright, so the next product is from Oma Beauty. It's the Say White Weightless Soft Matte Foundation. I'm in the shade White Pearl T2W, and it's a little bit of an orange tone, but I'm not sure if you can see it's running down the back of my hand. It's a very liquidy type formula, but what I like about it is that it's super full coverage. Just gonna show you really quickly. I just like to take it on the back of my hand. I'm using a Juvias Place foundation brush, and I'll start from this distance to show you on half my face first, so you can just see the texture. Alright, so it's just with one light layer, and because I don't have proper lighting, I'm really only using the room light, so it does make me look a little bit washed out. So that's how it does it, and it's just really beautiful. As you can see, it's really a mattifying formula, so if you don't like matte foundations, this might not be one for you, but they do have other formulations. But I like it because after I applied the moisturizer, I feel like it's a good balance between my skin. So this is how it looks like really up close on both sides. It doesn't fully neutralize like a lot of the redder pigments, but overall I would say it's a high medium coverage. And yeah, you can see there's absolutely no shine to my skin. I've worn this for a full day before. At about the 5-hour mark, I find that I look pretty oily, but up till then it's just very natural looking, and I feel more radiant than anything, because I like it when my oil seeps through and start to give me that youthful glow. At this point, I would say this is not my ideal kind of finish. That being said, it is a matte foundation, but I still really like how it looks because it's giving me like to me it feels very full coverage, but it isn't as full coverage as something like Shape Tape, which is like super opaque. But yeah, this is how it looks. Alright, next, this is the Juvias Place Concealer. Looks like that. It comes with a pretty thick doe foot applicator. It's really big, and I'm in the shade 20. So I've used all these products before, but to me, how I like to apply this concealer, this shade doesn't exactly match me and the foundation, but I'm just going to show you how I make it work. I start by applying a really small amount, and I really press it into the skin and work it in with my body heat, just because it isn't a very thick formula, but I just find that because the shade doesn't match me very well, I need to sheer it out and then build the coverage. Like that, you can see how it's super full coverage, and I really press it into the bridge area of my nose, and I take it like slightly under the eye bag and I bring it out to the corner, so that way it gives me like the most even coverage and it doesn't look too starking a difference in terms of the concealer color as well as the foundation color. Alright, I'm just going to show you how my under eyes look really quick. So that's with the concealer, and I didn't kind of use the concealer on my eyes yet because I do that when I hit the eyeshadow portion, but I just kind of neutralize my under eye circles, and you can see what a beautiful formula it is. Alright, so I'm just going to put like really the smallest amount, and I don't really like to use my fingers on my face because I feel like it's pretty time consuming. So with the same foundation brush, I'm just going to lightly press it and kind of give it an even layer in the T section of my face, so this middle portion, and lightly pat it. And because the formula is so, I wouldn't say watery, it's just really thin a layer, so basically it will give you that even coverage without looking too thick in one area, and it really doesn't feel like a heavy product. So that's why I really like this. Alright, I'm using a Oma Beauty brow pencil, and I'm just gonna quickly do one eyebrow, and you can really see how much of a dupe this pencil is to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. It's that same kind of contraption where it's a very fine tip and it gives you a lot of precision as you do your brows. I'm not gonna do too heavy a brow today. Okay, so this is one of the brows done. You can probably see the difference. It's a very beautiful pen formula, and it's not a wax pencil, so you can see how when I brushed it out, it kind of blurred the edges really well. And I love this color. It's like very natural. All the information will be in the description box, but you can see the difference. I'm gonna now use the Oma Beauty Brow Gel. And this formula is, I would really be pretty honest to say that it's very good in the sense that it's super firm, and it's a gel that won't budge, but you have to work pretty quickly once you apply it. So how I like to do it is, this is the tinted version, so I like to comb up the brow hairs at the end of the brow first, and then comb the tail brow hairs towards the direction I want it to go, and comb up the front brow hairs. Alright, because my complexion is obviously looking really washed out and these lights are really making my skin look super white, I will take a picture at the end to show you guys how my skin actually looks. But I'm going to do bronzing with this cream bronzing stick from Oma. It's a dual-ended bronzing as well as highlighting stick, and I'm just going to do it as I usually would. I would say this formula is very beautiful. It's like a very slippy texture. I would say this formulation is pretty opaque, so you can see it's super opaque. I'm using another Juvias Place brush, and I'm using it pretty densely. I'm really gonna press into the skin and kind of go in large circular motions so that this product blends out really easily. I would say there's several ways to use this product. How I'm doing it now, straight onto the skin, which could be a bit daunting for a lot of people. So this is really the full kind of opacity. You can use it gently from the brush and onto the product, and you can lightly bronze up the forehead area. There's another way that I like to use this product, which I'll show you shortly. And then with the Juvias Place brush, I just really lightly tap a little bit of the product to the bristles, and similarly in the same contour areas, you just want to make sure that you lightly blend the product. You can see this way the pigments look a lot more, diffused and very natural. Okay, for powder, I'm going to show you the two Pat McGrath powders. For all over powdering, I'm going to use Light 1 from Pat McGrath, the loose powder version. I just take a little bit onto the cover, not too much, and just swirl my powder brush inside, just getting it all the way into, and just make sure it's all coated inside. And I don't like to powder my whole face, as in like really make sure there's a very thick layer of powder. Just with that light amount of product, I just like to dust it. Just go over the bronzer area, under the bronzer area, on the chin. So you can see I didn't use much product at all, but this powder from Pat McGrath is like seriously one of the best. It's so fine that you don't have to worry about it looking too cakey, but obviously don't use too much. This powder is great for baking also, if you like to bake your under eye. And this is another powder, which is their under eye pressed powder. It's in light as well, so you can see it's like pretty white, but I like to use this very precisely under the eye. So using a Juvias Place brush, which is a very kind of compact fluffy brush, I just saturate the product into it, and I use the mirror section and I just really swirl it in so that it's evenly coated in the brush. And what I like to do is similarly with the same pattern, just lightly swirling it under the eye and making sure I get the inner corner, which is where the fine lines, the product actually seeps into the fine lines. You just want that area to be mattified so that all the concealer doesn't melt away because of the natural oils. So that's how it looks. I feel like it's a very interesting a formula for a pressed powder. There is a lot of kickback, but that just shows that it wasn't very tightly pressed. It's more of like a baked powder. You can see there's a little bit of a curve, which means that the powder is ultra fine. I would say that this under eye powder is a lot more fine than the pigments in the loose powder, and that's why it's perfect for the under eyes. It doesn't make it look too aged or too washed out. I take the powder onto my lids as well so that I can prime it for eyeshadow. Alright, the next product is from Fenty Beauty. It's their cream blushes. I'm going to use two shades. This one is Rose Latte, and I really like this shade because it's a very buildable formula, and this color in particular, it's like that great bronze yet really nice mauve undertone. So this is how I like to wear it. You can see it's pretty intense in the pen. To take this blush, this shade in particular, on the temples, because it is kind of that neutral mauvey brown kind of a shade. It kind of looks like that uneven sun-kissedness you naturally have on your skin, and because the tone is so unique, it really just doesn't look like a blush too much. It looks like a bronzer with red undertones. So this one's called Fuego, and it's also from the Fenty line, and it's a straight up orange, and this is obviously going to be a solid blush color. Taking it in the same brush, this I like to focus on the main cheek area. Because of my face structure, I don't really have high set cheekbones, so I like to mimic the appearance, which is around this area, and that's where I focus like the main blush shade on. Alright, last but not least for the face, these are from Danessa Myricks, and this is the wet balm in the shade Rose Water as well as Clear. The clear one almost looks like there's nothing inside the pan, but there is something. It's just a completely clear gloss, and this is the Rose Water shade. I'm probably going to use the clear because I want to show a textural difference without it being affected by color. I highly recommend you use this with your fingers for a start. So I'm just going to press into it and keeping it on the surface area, which is like the length of your finger, because that way you can like press it down on the tops of the cheeks. So just right here in this section, you can just lightly dab it up and down on the highlight region. But there's a very slight gloss, so this is more like a textural highlight. It's not supposed to give you like metallic glimmers or like really refined shimmers. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's just a very nice shine, and it's completely clear, so that's what you get with this product. It makes it look so natural. Honestly, your skin has never looked that juicy until you use this product, and I completely love it. Alright, I'm going to use the Juvias Place palette, and I think this one is called the Magic palette. So we have all these fun colors to play with. Using a Juvias Place brush, I'm using the shade Casey, which is like a beige shade, which will just act as a nice base color. It's just to neutralize any kind of texture and mattify the eye. Going in with Nana, which is like an orangey brown, just to give a very slight deepening of the crease. We're gonna do a very simple look since this is gonna be primarily a glossy eye. You can see these shadows are super pigmented and they are really beautiful. They're like, I would say comparable to ColourPop eyeshadows, but these are way more pigmented and a lot more blendable because they're super fine. And I think Juvia's Place is honestly one of those super underrated brands that I guess there was a peak in hype when, you know, they released their foundations and when they first released all these products, but very quickly the hype for them kind of passed, and I'm not sure why. I've had these products for a very long time. It's just that I think in terms of accessibility, I would then kind of talk more about ColourPop because they're always launching new products, which is honestly unfortunate. So I'm going to make more of an effort to really feature Juvia's Place because comparable, if not better than ColourPop, because yeah, it's just super vibrant, saturated colors with ease of blendability, and it's just something that everyone should have. Okay, and I'm going to use this shade called Zakia, which is a very bright kind of orange. Using these with your fingers also will get maximum saturation. It's just that I like to be able to blend the product. So because we're going to do a glossy eye, I really want to make sure that all the product is you know, finalized as I want it to look, so that when you add the gloss, you won't be touching the eye after that. Alright, and then I'm just gonna do like a fun kind of way to enhance the red tones, but I'm just gonna mix Zuba and Kogi, which is like a shimmer and a pink matte, just so that I can get it as rich as I can. And then last but not least, I'm going into the shade Sun, just like a pearl pink shade for the inner corner highlight. Just taking a little bit onto the lid. Okay, and I'm gonna add the clear gloss on top, but I think I'll do my lashes first, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the clear gloss from Danessa Maverick, using it on my finger and just really putting it all over the eye, just patting it down nicely. It's okay if it gets a little bit messy. All you want is for it to look glossy and very saturated. So it's a clear gloss, so you don't have to worry about it giving it any pigment. So what the clear gloss does is really to give the whole look a very wet effect, and actually saturates a lot of the product that goes on the eye. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it looks even more vibrant than it was before. Alright, with the lips, I'm gonna use Danessa Myricks again. It's the matte liquid pigment, which can be used all over the face. What I used on the eyes was the clear version, but this is the mattifying version, and it's in the shade Rustic. I'm going to use it on a pinned point kind of brush from Juvias Place. And really what I'm going to do is take the product and really just map out like I would with a lip liner. And because I want it to look a lot more glossy, these are the Fenty Beauty Slip Shine lipsticks. And I'm probably gonna use one of the neutral shades. This is the shade called Glaze. And it's pretty much like not a tinted lip balm, it's more like a lipstick with a really glossy finish. I'm gonna lightly blot the lips. Okay, and the final touches is just to go back into the face gloss, and because the eyes really look very prominent, I'm going to add even more gloss onto the skin. Alright, and that's the final look. Enjoyed this really thorough look at all these black owned brands, and like I mentioned in the beginning, everything earned from this video, even though you guys probably can see on my YouTube channel I don't get that much views, but I really wanted to do as much as I can to fundraise and give back to charities that support Black lives as well as the movement itself. So anything earned from this video will go directly to Black Lives Matter. I'll leave all the information below on the charity that I'll be donating to. And yes, if you guys can share this with your family and friends, every additional view, everything from this video will just continuously give back to the Black community. And if you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!